What's up, everybody? Well, today I'm here to bring to you another vacuum that is in my vacuum collection. This is yet another Hoover. I am probably the biggest fanatic of Hoover vacuums that you could probably see. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of you out there that love Hoovers as well, but I have always been a big fan of vintage Hoovers. Ever since growing up in the 90s, when I think that was at the end of Hoover's golden years. So what I have right here for your viewing pleasure today is a Hoover PowerMax. This is one of the many variants of the PowerMax. There was about 5 models of them, different variations depending on year, but I definitely wanted an earlier model PowerMax, the one that still had the old style brush roll before they would update to the brush roll design that would later go to the Hoover Power Drive. And this basically is nothing more than a Hoover Concept 2 with a hose. So I ended up getting this vacuum from a local vacuum collector in my area. Paid about $60 for the thing. And the thing was in, for the most part, good condition. It's just there were some things I did have to fix on it. The one big thing is the diverter valve was actually stuck in the hose position and it wouldn't go back to the floor mode. I tried everything I can to fix that, and it ended up getting to a point where it just did not want to fix, so I ended up having to bypass the system, and I will show you how I managed to do that later. But then other things started to occur, like the self-propelled transmission was stuck in reverse. And trying to adjust the self-propelled cable, the cable broke. So I had to get a new old stock replacement. The first new old stock cable that showed up was too short, while being the same part number. Got another cable, and the cable was still too short. So, yeah, I think I bought 2 defective cables, all of which were meant to be for the Concept 1 and the Concept 2. Keep in mind, the PowerMax is basically a Concept 2. And both of them take literally the same part number. So, as of now, because the cable is too short, the self-propelled, as of now, still isn't working. And I am honestly getting very fed up trying to fix this thing. This thing has been a total lemon to me from the second I bought it. Now, I do not regret buying it, though. Yes, this thing has been an awful pain to try to get all the bugs fixed out, and more bugs keep piling on top of that. But this is still a great vacuum to own, despite it still needs some things fixed on it. And hopefully, just hopefully, if nothing else keeps protesting on me, hopefully I will eventually get this thing fixed once and for all. But for right now, this is just how you're going to see it for the time being. So enough of that, let's go ahead and give a walkthrough of the machine. So this being one of the last variants of the Concept series before later getting replaced by an Elite Concept hybrid that was known as the Hoover Power Drive, which basically had the bottom end of this PowerMax, but the top end of a Hoover Elite adapted to fit the Concept chassis so it would still have self-propelled. that was just a totally different vacuum than what this is. So right up on top here, you do have your switches for your power and power surge, which this one unfortunately doesn't work as of now. The main power still works and it turns on and works just fine, but the power surge doesn't work. If you try to switch it to the power surge, it cuts the vacuum off. I actually found out why that is. It's because a wire is actually cut going to the power surge, and I just need to add a jumper wire maybe to fix that one of these days. And also I need to buy the correct size wire connector to connect main to the switch, but I do know that is fixable. And eventually I will have to get a replacement forward handle for this because the screw on the front has decided to strip itself out. For me having to take on and off the handle so many times trying to change a million drive cables. And I ended up stripping out the threads in the handle, so I had to put an oversized screw that still doesn't really hold on too well. And I'm thinking it's trying to strip on me as well. So this whole vacuum has been protesting every time I try to fix it. It's really annoying. So, but anyway, right here is the self-propelled function. You just simply switch it on like that and the handle will slide forward and back and would normally apply force going forward or back on the transmission, provided you have a working self-propelled system, which unfortunately this isn't. So anyway, right here, it does have your power surge labeling, and total system performance is rated at 930. This is just nothing but Hoover's marketing technique at the time to get high-end models look prettier on the shelf while also giving them a higher price tag. And as we move along down here, you have some more marketings down here. It's self-propelled, automatic tool conversion, 99.9% microfiltration down to 5 microns. You have your PowerMax labeling there. And as we move along down here, more labeling. Hoover, America's #1 vacuum cleaner. Triple stretch hose, over 13-foot reach. Brushed edge cleaning. Has a long cord with quick release. Built-in tool storage. Deluxe tool set with 2 wands. And the PowerMax, Hoover's top-of-the-line upright. And down here you have your dirt finder headlight, which this one has the same concept 2 light bulb setup. So now let's go ahead and open up the inside here to show you the attachments. There's the dusting brush. That these do not hold in very securely, so every so often tools like to fall out on you, but here is how they mount in. There's your crevice tool, upholstery tool, and your dusting brush. They don't mount in very securely, so sometimes they tend to fall forward when you open the attachment door. And further to that, there is a little catch that normally is supposed to hold the plastic door, but that bends and flexes over the years because of cheap, weak plastic. But at least it still has the latches to hold the door shut. On the side here, you do have your 2 extension wands and your onboard hose like so. It is a flexible hose, so that is one nice thing about it. It does have an automatic hose conversion, but like I said, the tool diverter valve isn't working and it still doesn't want to work right, so I managed to end up bypassing it. And the way I did that was actually by taking out the little tab that actually is supposed to pull the tool valve diverter closed. And when you recline the vacuum back, it's supposed to open up that valve and all the suction and airflow will be going to the cleaner head when you're using it as a main vacuum. And when you put it upright, it's supposed to push that tab and have it go through the hose when in upright mode. Unfortunately, since it's stuck in hose mode all the time, I ended up bypassing the system by cutting that tab off. So now the valve still retains its function. However, you have to manually select attachments. And usually the best way to go about doing it is if you pull this hose out and then you push down on the little tool diverter from the inside right there, and that will have it all go through your hose, which I will definitely show that later in that part of the video when we get to it. And then to open it back up, you simply pull on this little spring right there, if you can. Just pull it down and the tool diverter will open up and everything will go through your cleaner head as normal. So that's how I managed to skate around that. So it's not very convenient to use tools on this now until hopefully one of these days I source a parts machine that I could actually manage to source that tool diverter valve off of. And as you can see right here, it does have a nice, unique, quick release bottom plate to change your belt out. And by the way, we'll go ahead and show you the brush roll to the cleaner. This is the lower end version 2-brush, quote unquote, quadraflex agitator. But however, I like to refer to this style of brush roll as the Duoflex. The reason why is because it has only 2 brush strips. Like duo is another word for double. The Quadraflex got its name because it has 4 brush strips on the brush roll. But this one unfortunately has only 2. And I feel like this should be called the Duoflex, which honestly sounds a bit funnier, but it actually makes sense since this only has two brush strips instead of 4 like the regular Quadraflex does. This does have the white, very stiff brush strips. You also do have your brush roll stiffeners, so even for being just a 2-brush roll, it definitely has fantastic agitation. And right down here is your self-propelled transmission. It does work, but however, it doesn't function as for right now because I'm having never-ending drive cable issues with this. I'm about ready to start experimenting with the broken cable and try to attach it to the new section of cable via JB Weld. But comment down below if you think I should attempt that, or if you guys have any concept machines that you're wanting to part out that you have a good drive cable for. But anyway, right down here, let me go ahead and see if I can take the bottom plate off to show you. Right here is your brush roll belt as well as your self-propelled belt. It's a 2-belt system. One goes for the brush roll, one's for the self-propelled. It's very simple in its design. So let's go ahead and hinge the bottom plate back on if we can. It's sometimes very nerve-wracking to change things on this because parts have worn out over the years and they can get very brittle at times and are very easy to break. And it's a big shame for this because parts are getting harder and harder to find for these, so you can't afford to break anything. So as we come to the back here, I'll go ahead and tip it back to show you the model number to the cleaner. This is model U3729-910. It's got 120 volts, 60 hertz, 7.4 amps. And here's the belt part numbers. The belt for the brush roll, 38528-008. And the self-propelled belt is 160147AG. Serial for this is 05092. That means this vacuum was manufactured in May of 1992 by the Hoover Company of North Canton, Ohio, for household use only, made in the USA. That is one of my favorite things about these old Hoovers, is that they are US made. And that definitely says a lot about the quality of their machines over the years. So back here you do have your power cord right here. It does have a little electrical tape right here because there's a little nick and fray right there. So eventually one of these days this will have to warrant a replacement cord, but it at least works right now for time being. So now let's go ahead and release the cord. And while I have it off, we'll go ahead and show you the inner bag. So, as per usual, it's a Hoover Type A bag. Same bag that is also used in the later model Hoover convertibles, as well as the Hoover Elites. I use a HEPA cloth bag for increased filtration, and it definitely does wonders as far as like performance and filtration. Alright, other than that, I think I've pretty much shown you everything I can. So, let's go ahead and get to the running portion of this video. So, I already have the cord unraveled. So, now we will go ahead and plug this machine in. And we will go ahead and turn this thing on, and we'll give you a demo of this machine running. Now, typical concept fashion, this thing is pretty loud when it's running, so headphone users or those with sensitive hearing, I would advise turning down your volume for this portion of the video. So, here we go. very nice and smooth, but typical concept fashion, it's just incredibly loud. And I think part of that is because these attachments are still not securely mounted, and they always like riding out because of the bad excessive vibrations of the machine cause it to rattle into the plastic, which makes it even more loud. But anyway, I'll go ahead and try and show you the hose suction as best as I can. So let's just push down on the attachment to put it into hose mode. Now we'll go ahead and reconnect the hose. And now we're in tool mode. Don't expect miracle suction out of this thing. Because this vacuum is direct air, these things are known to produce more airflow than they are suction. Yeah, the excess vibration of the machine causes it to fall out. And it's about to do it again. Not very good. Yeah, not the most pleasant to use in tool mode, and that's all due to that stupidly bad plastic vibration, which is coming from both the attachments up here and this side mount rack is where a lot of it also comes from. So I definitely now see why these PowerMaxes didn't have a very long production run. They only ran, I think, for about 3 years up until like 94. And then the power drive replaced it altogether. I mean, if you ask me, these concepts are much better machines without tools. I mean, tool suction is honestly very pathetic on this. I'm going to go ahead and switch the diverter back to floor mode. Yeah, but tool suction on this is, to me, worse than an Elite. Those guys tend to do better at hose suction, even though those are also direct air. Well, everybody, I hope you've enjoyed this video on the Hoover PowerMax. If I manage to successfully get all the bugs fixed out of this thing at the time of shooting this video, I will eventually take this video down and replace it with a new one. But until then, be sure and stay tuned, and don't forget to like, rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.